What's going on, guys? Brian's here. Today's Thursday, November 2nd, 2023. It's the middle of the day as the market is open right now, and I figured I'd hop on and share a little bit of a troubling situation in which I'm in. This was coming off of the back of a great few days in terms of swinging long. I was long from last week Friday, and I took majority of my profits yesterday. But coming into the close yesterday, I decided to run what's called a bear call spread, and I shorted the 4,300 call for the SPX that expires tomorrow. So it was a 2 DTE trade. This is what the spread looks like right here. Shorted the 4,300 call and I went long the 4,305 call. This is what's referred to as a bear call spread or a call credit spread. So CCS is what you'll also see it referred to as the opposite of a PCS, which is a put credit spread. I don't run these that often as I'd much rather sell puts than sell calls. All the odds is in favor of actually selling. History has shown us that selling puts on the S&P 500 is a better way to go versus selling calls, as you'll collect more premium, especially when implied volatility is high as the lows, as the SPY will generally always have some sort of a relief bounce. And I'll likely do a dedicated video regarding this bounce, but I'll leave a link in the description down below to how you can anticipate these types of moves here to the upside. However, as I said, let's just make this larger here. As we were coming into this region here, I figured that we would have some sort of a stalling out. Now, yesterday was the FOMC announcement, and this is also smack dab in the midst of earnings. So whenever the market does something that it statistically doesn't do, it's usually going to be on the back of some sort of major catalyst. The FOMC is a major catalyst, and then we have earnings season. So there's plenty catalysts that are coming out right now, including after the market closes today, we have Apple's earnings. And that's one of the reasons which I'm most uncomfortable. So if we take a look at the SPX right here, again, this is the call in which I'm short, and that call is now in the money. On top of that, I'm a little bit uncomfortable because we're starting to form some sort of a intraday bull flag, and being aware of that, I know other momentum based traders and other very aggressive bulls will see that as a reason to enter in some long positions here, trying to continue to ride the momentum. However, volume is starting to decrease here, but that's normal because it is the middle of the day. What I don't like seeing is the fact that volume is starting to increase as we broke out. Now, that could be seen as people that are looking to close their positions are using this liquidity up here as a reason to sell into the aggressive buyers that are coming here, and the markets could just roll around. But I don't like making most of my decisions based on that type of odds or that type of probability. As for me, it isn't something that I can build some sort of a system around, especially when we're talking about the type of risk that's involved whenever you're running credit spreads. However, the main reason for me running this call credit spread, and I went all the way up to 4,300, even though the SPX closed yesterday down at a 42.40, this call that I sold was 60 points away, which is pretty high. I think the expected move for today was about 50 points. So we've now gone past what is the expected move for the day, as well as all senses of statistical normalcy for the SPY. It is now up over 4% from last week's Friday. So let me just double check that. If we take the low here and we look at where we currently are at, we're almost reaching 5%. So there's a 4.9% rally in 1, 2, 3, 4 days. So by no means is this considered normal. So the logic for most traders are going to have is we should have some sort of reversion to the mean, and the market should come back down to this area. However, it's not always likely that the markets will come back down in the time frame in which you think it will, as the market does not have to return back down. It will, however, always have some sort of a relief bounce, but it may not always retrace in the time frame in which you think it is. I know there are some traders that would love to buy the S&P 500 if it comes down to 4,100, but what happens if this was the low and the next time we see 4,100 is 10 years from now? There's nothing to say that the market will come back down here. So in another sense, if you miss your opportunity to add to your long-term portfolio around here, there's no telling how long you'll have to wait before we see these types of prices again. Versus if there was anyone that was short here, all here, yes, they had some sort of short-term profit, but now that the SPY is back over this whole consolidation period here, there are a lot of shorts that were likely covering overnight, and this is what helped contribute to this overnight gap up, as well as a ton of other reasons like the gamma exposure, the collapse in implied volatility, Vanna, charm, all these sort of complex reasons behind or justifications for this type of price action. For my trade now, the nerves are starting to settle in regarding what is the right decision to make. I ran that trade not only because of thinking 4,300 would likely be where we would stall out for today, which is what's happening, but what I didn't expect to see is a little bit more continued buying in the middle of the day as we're heading towards power hour. Now, I also ran that trade because I still have a bull put spread that was opened almost a couple weeks ago. So this trade here, I scaled out of this trade as the market was rallying, as it was actually under the water for a little bit. So it was down about 7.5% of the max loss. And now it is roughly up. So if we were to just pull this back and we just see what the max risk is, it's about 8%. So normally this would be a profit target that I would use for a trade like this. I decided to run, I only have one of these left here as I scaled out of this, again, majority of this position early in the week, but I decided to leave one runner, and that's what led me to decide to run 3 of these. So my full size is actually 3 of these. So let me just fill in. This is all I have left on this trade, and this is all I have left on this trade. I knew as I was analyzing my risk profile yesterday, and I took a look that if the market was here, again, yesterday, if it did rally up to here, how much would I be up on this trade? And I knew roughly that this would be up about $180. And then I looked at this and I figured this would be down around $200. So I figured those two would, in a sense, cancel each other out. So therefore, I was able to say one is too small of a position. I mean, generally one is too small for my account size to be trading these types of trades, as I'll generally scale up to a much larger size. But I immediately started with 2, and I said, okay, 2 is probably not, enough for me to take the trade to make it worth it for my own personal financial goals. So what I did was I ran 3. And with 3, I was comfortable with this risk, comfortable accepting how much I would be down. Again, negating about 25 or 30% of this is negated by this bull put spread that was opened prior. On top of that, yesterday, we'll take a look at the live risk profile there in a second. On top of that, yesterday, I ran a long 425 call and 441 puts for the SPY for Monday's expiration. I grabbed some of these and today took profit on this. So I had a little bit of overnight protection as I was expecting some sort of a large move, was not sure on the direction. I had a slight bias that there would be consolidation or a little bit of a pullback, but running this trade here allowed me to, at the open, decide to close out one of these, as I knew that trade would make a little over $150 per one in which I was in. So that would also negate some of the red that this position would be down. But what I did not account for was the SPX actually starting to push past the levels in which it is now. So if we were to take a look at the risk profile, it's in a risk reward that's not favorable, because as we can see, if the market goes up about 1%, this position currently is down $434. As you can see, there are 3 of the bear call spreads, and I only have 1 left of the bull put spread. And if the market went up another 1%, this is how much this position theoretically will be down tomorrow. This is how much it is down currently. And if the market was to pull back about 1%, then overall I'll be up net green. And this is actually obviously the favorable position. But with a 1-to-1 risk reward ratio, this isn't really something that I think I have a lot of odds in. And that's the main reason that I don't want to be in this trade. So the decisions that I can decide is I can scale back because 2 of these, in a sense, already paid for. So if I were to close out 2 of these, the SPY position earlier that's already been realized, this strangle has already, again, this is right before I did this video, I decided to just mock it up so you guys can see. Again, this was closed out here earlier, so this is not the profits. I actually took about $138 or so on that trade, and I'm only using 1 as a unit because when I entered this, 1 is what I was accounting for to pay for the bear call spread. If I was in multiple of these, that doesn't matter because that is considered to me a separate trade. I know I was entering at least 1 of these to help pay or to help hedge this bear call spread. I knew I had 1 of these bull put spreads left to also hedge 1 of the bear call spreads. So that leaves only 1 in actuality is the major problem. So if we reduce this now, this is actually how much I would be down from the overall 3 positions today. And as we come to here, if I were to scale out 2 of these, those 2 realizing are pretty much negating the profits from the other trades, then therefore I would have to also close this one out because I would want to realize the gains on this, and that would leave me with just 1 bear call spread left over. Now, if I'm only going to be in 1 bear call spread, and this is what it's looking like here, if the market was to continue to go a little bit higher, now I'm looking at potentially being down the max loss, and this is $425 with just 1. And then if the market was to pull back to where I think it's going to go, I'll pretty much be break even here tomorrow. Now, this isn't really a trade I also want to take because, or hold, because if we were to jump forward here to, let's just say tomorrow's open, which is right around here, we see that I'll pretty much be down about the same amount. Again, if the market was to go a little bit higher, I'll be down almost twice as much as how much I'm currently down. And I would need much more than a 1% pullback to actually make me happy with holding this trade. So therefore, my risk profile is telling me this is probably a position I should get out entirely. Now, what some people will do with credit spreads is they will roll it over to next week, because statistically what should happen is the market should have some sort of consolidation period, which would benefit this as it is a long theta position. I don't need the markets to pull back. Well, now I do, because it has now gone past the long strike. But for a position like this, you don't necessarily need the market to pull back. You can also benefit if it just consolidates. So the logic is, if you just were to roll this up to maybe a strike price, something like this here, collect a similar amount of credit that was received, push it out to a little bit of a further date, and then look for some sort of consolidation over the weekend. And then Monday, if the market doesn't go any higher or it pulls back, you can make your profit target that way. And then between the few days, you end up being overall profitable. So that's one solution. Something else that I like to do is decide to reallocate my risk. So if my risk now with just one of these is $400, I'll often tell myself, hey, for $400, can I find a trade that will actually yield a better result? And if we were to take a look at something like this now is a lower probability position to be in, because now, as you guys can see, I need the market to pull back in order to be profitable on this. Whereas with the bear call spread, you don't need it to actually pull back much. You can have it just stay where it is. Again, this is if we were to roll the position up here and we had it like this. Now, if the market's just stayed where it was over the next few days, we can see that this is actually tomorrow's expiration. Let me jump to Monday. Yes, if the market was to just stay here by Monday's open, we can actually be profitable and make up about a break-even, difference. That is a good scenario. Again, a lot of traders will do that. I might end up doing it. I haven't made my decision yet. I'm still waiting until power hour to decide. I don't like making trading decisions like this in the middle of the day, as the market can very well so reverse at any given moments. Whereas during power hour, you get a little bit more of a clearer state of the price action for the day, in my opinion. But if we were to take a look at this and I said, hey, if I took something like this and I held this until Monday, let's jump to about here. And again, this is theoretical, because what will happen is implied volatility will just jump up a little bit over the weekend once this becomes a 0 DTE. So let's just say this is theoretically what we could be looking at. If the market goes nowhere, now I'm saying, okay, I'll only be down, call it $80, $85 or so. If the market was to continue to go up, I'll be down the same $200 that I'll be down if I did nothing into tomorrow, because again, I'm already currently down. Let me just refresh this. I'm already currently down about 190, $200. The max loss is $425. So there's only about $200 more in which I can possibly be down once I close out the other two. If I were to do the same thing here, so I'm risking another $200, the max loss is in a sense capped. So let's just use the max loss and say $270 if the SPY, for whatever reason, was to rally another 5% next week, which is very unlikely. However, if we were to get some sort of a 1% pullback, now we can see that this trade right here will yield a much higher result than just running another call credit spread. And I'm keeping my max loss around the same, but at the same time, because it's a much smaller position size and I'm buying myself a little bit more time, it's a little bit more of a comfortable situation to be in, because I will only end up getting one of these, and I'm letting my risk profile dictate how much size should I put in this trade. If I want to get long puts, that's a different trade. It's a different story. Let's just say I think there's some sort of reasons to expect the market to pull back to 4,200. That's a different trade. But regarding this entire campaign, as I like to think of it, I might do something like this. And then there's obviously the opportunity for, let's just say the market was to come all the way down here. I'm leaving myself with no risk to the downside, because let's just say the entire market did completely reverse, as we've seen happen on weeks of FOMC announcements. It could end up coming all the way back down to here, which is unlikely, but it has happened. At least I know this $229 will cover for the cost of what I will be realizing from this trade right here. Let's just call it down $200. So by realizing a $200 loss here, I can help offset that regardless. And I'm leaving myself now the opportunity or the room for maybe on Monday in the middle of the day, there's the opportunity to potentially pay for the entire trade with these three that I'm actually in. That means the bull put spread will have been realized as a overall net profitable gain. The strangle in which I would have been a gain in which I would have been able to completely profit. And now I'm putting myself in a situation where I'm comfortable holding over the weekend, don't have much risk, would have significantly reduced that. And that's always the ultimate goal whenever you're trading, is how to reduce your risk, increase your probability of success, make sure you're comfortable with the positions you're in, and put yourself in situations in which it's almost hard for you to lose a lot of money. Every trade, as you might have heard, should result in different scenarios. Either you make a lot of money, either you make a little bit amount of money, either you don't make any money, it ends up being a break even, or you lose a little bit amount of money. There should never be a situation in which you lose a lot of money. This is the situation you want to avoid. If you can put yourself in a situation where you get one of these four scenarios and you leave that fifth one out of here, you'll end up having an overall great trading career. And this is risk management, and this is how I approach decision making. Hopefully this helps, and it's not common that I'll come on in the middle of the day and actually be able to share a video like this. I happen to have the time, and the market is doing absolutely nothing for the past couple hours, as it's just making me nervous and annoying me actually at the 4,300, because this is just one position in which I thought, we would have stalled out again by now, or at least had some sort of reversal. And this is coming off of one of the biggest weeks in which I would have had for the entire year. So it's a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth to end off the week on a position. Even though it's small, it doesn't matter to me. This is a very small position for my portfolio, for the size in which I normally trade, but that doesn't matter. It's about doing the right thing regardless of how big or small the trade is, because I will treat every trade as if I'm using my full size. It creates good habits. So the next time when I am running this, and let's just say I'm in 10 of these bear call spreads and I'm using, $15,000 in margin or $20,000 in margin, I'm making the same decision when I was only running 3 of these, as that will create the good discipline. And that's what we actually want. So to conclude, I'll just share with you guys one more time how much margin that I use for this. I'm using $1,500 in margin, and it's currently down $560. I've already realized about $130 on the strangle here today. This position is up $170, so that means overall I'm not really down this much on the day. I'm more so closer to being down around 200 and something bucks or so. And now I have to make a decision going into power hour. Thanks for watching, guys, and hopefully this can help shed some clarity on risk management, using your risk profile, making decisions based on your risk profile, and combining different types of strategies and spreads. This is a bear call spread that was a 2 DTE. I had this bull call spread, which was over 40 DTE. I had a 4 DTE strangle here before the FOMC announcements. And now I'm looking to open up something like this, which is a 4 DTE spread to swing over the weekend with a similar bias, expecting some sort of a pullback, but limiting my upside risk, leaving room for some sort of a major lotto win, but leaving no risk to the downside that can help cover the cost for the trade that I'm going to likely realize as a loss today. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.